Here is a 1,000 gallon tanker on a trailer. The trailer can be hooked up to a truck, pulled forward, comes off the skids or the pylons, and you can take it to somewhere if you needed to transport water. So I had to run water, one for the horse washout that's going to be here and one for the tanker. Now mind you, I literally just installed this yesterday. Excuse the mess. So as the water level drops, it automatically fills this back up. This line goes to the faucet or the spigot. Let's see if I can get down without falling. I still got to tighten this guy here because I got one drip coming out. But replace this valve too. Still a lot to do. I'm not done, so don't judge. Tank gets filled up. When the water level gets to the top, the float shuts off. So you keep this on at all times. It goes down here into a flexible hose, down, and actually goes under the trailer, buried. And everything is at an incline, a downgrade. So comes out here, actually goes out that way to feed the other animals. Comes out here, tees off, and this is what's cool about the system. It's a shallow system, low pressure, 2-inch line. So at any point you can shut the water off, drain it, tap into it with the T, and then run a line this way if you needed one to this guy's. But they've got their own over there with another flexible hose so I can pour the water left or right. So water follows underground. Again, shallow line. The whole point of a shallow line is so that you can easily dig it up. And say you put a trough here. Again, easy to dig up later on. Tee it, go this way with the valve there. So I will be backfilling some more just to keep me from stomping on it and the horses, and more importantly in the winter to help it insulate it. So there's the beauty of it. This is what it looks like when it comes out of the ground. Big old spigot, starts off slow. One-handed, see if I can do it. Starts off slow and then starts gushing out. The pressure starts building up. So what's neat about this is it serves two purposes. A, you no longer need to sit there with the hose filling up the trough, which used to take me about half an hour per trough, and there's 4 of them. That's 2 hours of time that I don't want to sit out here babysitting a hose, or otherwise I end up with the river. That's the first purpose. The second purpose is to have up to 1,000 gallons, or a minimum of 1,000 gallons of backup water, meaning that if I lose power or water for a few days, since we're on a well, if I lose power or water, the animals have a minimum of 1,000 gallons on standby, and that should hold me 4 to 7 days depending on how many animals I got. They like to argue, and they like to argue. So this way you end up with backup water systems, and you can ditch these stupid hoses. I still need the hose for now, so I can run another line over here. Tee off into this one to go this way over here, expand the corral out a bit. And at the lowest part of the system is a cap. There's a cap here because in the winter I don't want my lines bursting. So I can actually drain the shut the water off at the tank, come over here and open this valve and drain enough water so that those spigots don't burst from freezing. So again, water gets fed in through the well, automatic float shuts it off when it's full. As soon as I open the valves to these things, the water level will drop and automatically start filling it back up. In the entire time I've had that tank, I've never once had to clean it because A, there's no sunlight going into it directly, so no algae will grow, and B, it's always getting topped off with fresh water. It used to sit over here to feed these guys here, but I decided to tie it in over there. At some point, I'm going to add another tank over there by the chickens, and you can actually have several tanks tied into this one system as long as each tank has its own float and its own hose coming from the well or your water. So right now there's 1,000 gallons. Once I add the other tank, that's going to be another 1,500. So you're talking 2,500 gallons of backup water for the animals. And what's interesting about this system is you can actually reverse it. So if you lose water and power for an extended amount of time, you can shut the water main off, because we have a community well here, so I can shut the water main off and I can actually run a 12-volt solar pump in reverse, meaning that it pressurizes the water back into the house. So if I needed to take I don't know, a quick shower or whatever, I've got at least 2,500 gallons of water that can be reversed. This system can also be great with gardens. If you've got some IBC totes, you can set up about 500 to 1,000 gallons and you can use them in your garden. And this way you've got, you know, a good amount of backup water. It's a very simple, very basic, no moving parts other than a 12-volt pump if you wanted to pump it back into your plumbing at high pressure, 45-50 psi for showering or whatever. If you've got a reverse osmosis, it'll clean it out as well. But this is one of the systems that I'd like to install because it's so flexible. You can at any point dig up this tiny shallow line and add another faucet if you add more corrals or troughs or animals. It can service as water backup storage for emergency situations in short term, such as the power went out for a day or 3 or 4 or 7, depending on how much water you're holding. And you can actually pump it back into the line, into the same garden hose that used to feed it, with a 12-volt solar pump. So hopefully this gives you some ideas as to how to run irrigations and water for your animals.